So, first of all, morning. Thank you. Thank you for coming. As you can see, I've been kind of a lifer with Media Posts. I think going back to 2016 was kind of the first one that I was at, spoke at. They've been gracious to me. They've actually adopted me. The one mistake they made is they gave me a mic without a wire so I can come visit people. No, it's okay. I'm just messing with you. I may come see Ian. That's my guy. But no, these summits are great. And you're talking to someone who's gone to DigiDay, spoken at DigiDay, gone to some of the Brand Week stuff, TVOT stuff, Access Intel stuff. Love the intimacy of the forum here, the ability to connect. For all you people who are brands, you don't get pitched here. That's another great thing. Nobody's trying to overly DM you and sell you. But you get to have great sort of intellectually stimulating conversation for which everyone in the room is like very, very smart. So I can attest to that for an 8-year run that the product is very good. So I'm gonna be your MC from the day. No pop quizzes unless you annoy me or I see you not paying attention. Just kidding. But no, I think we're gonna have a good time. It's gonna be a good show. Glad that Media Post saw the vision in out of home as a forum because most of the other trades don't. They write about it, they punch about it. But I think this has been very much about bringing some of the best thinkers, executors in the business into a room to really sort of, as I'd want to say, gaslight the media sector as to why out of home, in particular the digital variant, makes so much sense. So what I'm going to do is really kind of set the frame for a presentation. I hope you find it kind of inspiring. But I think the idea is we just want more of the good stuff brought to the fore so that, as I said at the last Digital Out of Home Summit, this space starts to assert its will. And as we go through the presentation, I'll give you a literal understanding what I mean about asserting its will. Out of home lives in everything. Yet as someone who's bought media for 25 years, I think the space is selling it wrong. What I mean is that you can't buy retail media and not buy out of home if you're smart. It's very hard to buy a pathway of connected TV. You don't buy the same connected TVs that just aren't in your living room. So when you start to look at the ecosystem of what we're doing in this room, in this space, it is almost in everything. When you start thinking about the ability to connect the physical world to a digital world, you have to start in the world outside of your home. And I think that's really the cause here in terms of how do we better champion what has already existed, what has already been in play, what lives in so much of what we do without having to get into the segmentation of, oh my God, is it programmatic? If it's not programmatic, I can't buy it. The biggest thing is that human nature lives in the experience, in particular the physical one. The physical world is what gives us the membership. Some of the memberships we have digitally don't mean as much. It's really what as we press the flesh and show up in person. And this is the channel that lives very much in person. And I think in the melee and confusion of marketing and advertising, we have to get back to basic human instincts. We identify the most with what we see eye to eye, what we can trust. And as we move into this era of AI, you see this, we're on the precipice of this era that they're calling the deep doubt era, because there's gonna be a ton of deep fakes. We've already seen it. The political season is gonna gaslight, accelerate, and experiment with it. But the one thing that we can always discern to be true is what we see with our own eyes. And that is absolutely where the out-of-home sector lives. It is the social proof that it is actually real. And I think we may see a retraction of marketers saying, look, digital is becoming a bit of a dumpster fire and discerning what is real, what is fake, what is safe, because now we've given up the freedom to reach the consumer because of safety. We have massive amounts of blocking issues, digitally speaking, on the internet. But I think the way we look at it is that things that exist to the naked eye, in the flesh, face to face, are still very real, and we can discern and we can trust that. So I think with the distrust level that may go up in the digital spectrum in terms of media and advertising, the trust level with everything out of home will remain and sustain the way it's always been. I think that's just going to be some of the natural currency that will soon essentially emerge in 2025 based on the mess that the space is going to make it. The other thing is the language in out of home is very simple. The language in programmatic is conflated, confused and inflated. It thinks it's better than it is. And that's also part of the problem. And I think marketers are getting unbusy, I like to say. I always say clients are not stupid, they're just busy. The danger is when they get unbusy. And I think that's what we're going to see and sort of witness in the coming months, in the coming years, is they're going to go back to what they now know, what they trust, and what they can believe and discern with their own eyes. And I think that becomes a prime opportunity. But again, I think the space has to effectively assert its will in understanding that it lives and is a part of almost everything. You can't do event marketing without out of home, or you shouldn't be. So again, when you start to go all the way down the line, you can't do branded entertainment without using some of these overly entertaining, egregious screens. So I think, again, we have to start to look at where it lies and lives already in the ecosystem of what has been done and what has already been built, and recognize what this sector has already powered and the reason why some of these things exist. And I think that's the idea of championing through this summit, is bringing through thought leaders who embody and represent why those things are always there and always true. There's no reason this category should continuously get outflanked by stuff in digital that almost feels sort of Ponzi scheme-ish when you get behind the math, but that's kind of a real thing that exists. So I think, again, my thing and my charge to everyone in the room is adopt some language in your conversations that makes basic human sense to a check writer. I always tell people, I like to speak the language of a check writer. You're trying to get a check cut. Let's just be clear, we're all in business to make money. We have to be. So are the same clients we represent. And I think the power is just starting to speak the regular language that they understand, that they can identify with, that they can cut a check against, and not get caught up in trying to compete with the other messages. So, we're up. Okay, so reimagining out of home for humankind, and I want to stress humankind. We got to get back to just understanding how humans think and are wired, and less of this crappy language that this industry sort of makes up, we try to track with. So the first thing is, out of home is attention. So my Prog.io presentation was about programmatic in the era of attention. It's always about attention. The war has always been for attention. It doesn't matter if it's Louis versus Gucci, Nike versus Adidas, Kim Jong versus Donald Trump versus Putin. These people just want attention, because attention gets you influence. Influence gets you power, and you will probably end up with a lot of money. It's always about attention. Out of home is the one mechanism that has unaverted attention, because you cannot look at two things at the same time, ever. The brain can't process it. So we have to start selling. It's a part of the attention stack. Yes, we spend more time on TikTok, but that's causing some other mental breakdowns. Nobody's having a mental breakdown over outdoor signage. Let's just be clear. And again, this is about how do you juxtapose and take a position against the machine that's running. And the first thing you start with is the idea of attention. The second thing is moments. Google coined the term micro moments some years ago. I remember, I was like, it's brilliant. It's true. We look down on our phone, well, probably 500 times a day now. But you won't do it while I'm talking, or I will come find you with this wireless mic. But the whole idea is that branding is now stitching together a series of moments. We rarely have just uninterrupted hours of moments. Maybe in gaming, maybe at a sporting event. That's out of home, by the way. But when you start to look at it, it's all about stitching together moments. And the moments we see with our eyes that we live in the experience economy are the things that are most valuable. And that's why we have to get back to say, when clients use terms like, well, out of home is moments. I know you want to use search engine marketing and you want to run ads on Facebook and you want to do SMS, but out of home is moments. The next one is it's phygital. I was talking to someone before I hit the stage and I said, the problem with Web3 is there's no physical attribute in the flesh of membership to Web3. We're not wearing it. We're just talking about it. Nobody carries around a Discord. When you start to think about the real world, human beings identify with what is in the physical. You say you're a Jets fan, where's your hat? Okay, where's your Giants hat? I know you got one, I'm just messing with you. There he is. Same thing. You love your favorite artist, where's the track? Brian was talking about putting on vinyl. He's a purist. That's the proof. The reality of it is, out of home is going to be the thing that's going to bridge us better to digital worlds, in particular Web3. Because without physical membership, we need to be wearing it as a t-shirt, as a bracelet, as a ring. It's proof that that is our membership. Think about anything in life. There's physical representation that there is true membership there. Women, you love Louis Vuitton? Where's the bag? See, that's how they show they have membership when they walk in with the never full. Don't ask me how I know these things more than I need to. But that's the purity. So you have to think about how out of home is probably going to be the thing that saves and catapults us into Web3. Gaming wasn't real until they started doing tournaments around the world. Then it became very, very real. Otherwise, it was some dude in a basement in a movie in Die Hard called the Warlock, and we're like, this dude is a loser. Okay, they had to put gaming in physical spaces and do conferences and have competing teams to make gamers winners. So you have to think about how out of home plays in that. All right, moving on. The next thing is teleporting experience. This is done by an agency where the skyline in Las Vegas is more gorgeous. You can see more stars. In Chicago, apparently you can only see about 1,000th the number of stars. Didn't know that. So what they did is they did a pop-up in Chicago, downtown, for people to put on headsets to see a gorgeous skyline in Las Vegas. Only out of home can teleport the out of home experience in another region of the world to people who live in another part of the world to get them to understand what the beauty of it is. That's the power of what out of home can do. This just shows you what they're looking at. So this is Nevada, but they're sitting in Chicago in a tent. Again, let's move the out of home experience around. Let's port it around. This is a brilliant campaign. Here's another one. Out of home is storytelling. Why is not the hardscape activated? Let's see how it works. Remember, human behavior is more predicated on the meaning of it than the view of it. We see stuff all the time. The question is, does it mean something to us? Here's an example where you activate the hardscape with a phone. These are the things that will bridge things like Web3. That's the idea. Only out of home can tell that story. Otherwise, you need a tour guide. And unless we're in a foreign country, we're not trying to tour our own country. We're supposed to know what we're looking at. The next thing is the landscape. What if we activated the physical landscape like a world website, wire it up? Here's another great example. And again, I think the idea is that this is something that out of home can do, other categories can't do, to transform its meaning. And this is just a quick example. Sorry the video is choppy, but it only plays for about 5 seconds, but I think you get very much the idea. Am I missing something? I think it went down. I know, right? Let's see if they can get it back up. If not, I'll close this out. But I think you're starting to understand the picture and the power of what out of home can activate that nothing else can. You don't see TV in the frame here. You don't see influencers and creators in the frame here. All these things, you don't see retail media in the frame here. So I think when we start to look at why it matters to a consumer, we have to talk about out of home's ability to activate the human journey. We live in one continuous live stream, not in the sessions. Digital and websites is all about session data. This person did this for 2 minutes, 90 seconds, 15 seconds, 2 minutes. Out of home is a live stream. We live it as one continuous movie as people. We have to understand how we insert the channel, the medium, into that continuous live stream. You guys gonna be able to get it up? If not, I'm gonna shut this down. But any questions so far? Any feedback? All right, we're gonna get ready and get this rolling. Thank you for the AV guys. We were able to make it work, but we're gonna go ahead and transition into the next segment. So we're gonna have Jordan and Kyle come up to talk about Scott's. Look, this is amazing. Scott's Lawn, the products consumed out of the home. This isn't difficult. I watch clients overthink. So I love it when I see a brand that understands its identity, where it plays in the space, and activates in the channel where it actually lives and breathes and makes its money flow. So, without further ado, let's welcome these two gentlemen up. Woo. All right.
Thank you, Chris. That was awesome. All right, have any questions for Chris?
Hello, Evan from Horizon Media. Based off of all of the success you saw bringing that media in-house and all the learnings you had, what value do you find still within agencies, and what do you use them for still?
Yeah, so we in-house just the paid digital portion, so we still work very closely with our AOR on creative and traditional. So our traditional mix tends to have a higher percentage over in our Asia countries. We still do a lot of out-of-home there, but then in Canada we do DRTV and things like that too. So working with them on kind of integrated planning and kind of those pieces, or anything else that's not really in our remit. Like, we don't have expertise in influencers, right? And one of our businesses just came to us asking for help there, and we're like, sorry, let's go talk to Dentsu. So things like that too. We're not experts in everything single area, so we still pick their brains on things like that.
I think I saw someone over here. Did I? Anyone else have a question? I actually, before I let you go,
Worry, you don't even have a question?
It's my turn now. No, I'm curious in terms of, I know you gave your key takeaways, but when you look back now, is there anything you might have done differently that, when you were making this shift?
Yeah, the change management piece. We were kind of, because there was so much work to be done, I think we really neglected, like, all those great stats we only just communicated kind of relatively recently. So throughout, just having that communication plan on updating the executives, I mean, even our own CMO, like, we should have done a much better job communicating the ongoing wins. Because otherwise, like, it's great that you're doing, but then you're not actually elevating it to the people that matter, that are funding it and keeping us employed. So the change management piece, I think, absolutely. And as we're going through kind of the measurement piece now, like, we've been utilizing our learnings from the media in-housing and actually, like, applying it to the measurement now of regular trainings and ongoing conversations with our business partners as a result, and that's going much more smoothly this time.
Well, that's good to hear. Okay. Well, Chris, again, thank you.
There's one more right down there. If it's quick, we can do one more down right. If we can, yes. By the way, that was Corey's question, Lisa, just so you know. So there you go. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. You stole it. He was thinking the same thing.
So I have two questions.
Wait, who are you and where are you from?
I'll try to make it fast. Sorry. Jenny Kim from OMD. So two questions. First question is, how long did it take you to do this and in-house? Yeah. So I'll let you.
So in-housing the media portion took, the better part of 10 months of 2023, I'd say, to actually get to a point where we had everybody that's currently on the team hired. But we did take over all media as of 1/1/23 with whatever people we had at that point in time. And capacity and people getting burnt out and not loving their job was an issue. We have solved capacity issues at this point. And then the measurement piece, it was something that, we have 13 media mix models now. We had, I'd say, like 3 or 4 initially. And so that has been built out over the past 6 to 9 months, roughly, to build the measurement piece out to where it is today.
Well, and Jenny will find you after for her second portion of the question. Thanks again, Chris.
Thank you.